All right, welcome in guys to another Walking Dead All Stars video. This your boy JustCMTexx. I'm back and we're gonna go ahead and get into the next tier list. I did a neutral tier list. You can go ahead and check that out up in the top part. You should see it come up on the screen here shortly. You can check out the neutral tier list where I went over the best neutral tunes and placed them in their tier list. And now I'm gonna go ahead and do the predators. I actually like the predators as well too. They have a lot of outlasting type tanks that try to survive fights and things of that nature. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and get into this tier list. And first on this tier list we have Alpha. Okay, so Alpha's a tank, and I said this before, she doesn't really tank like in a traditional sense of what we would think of a tank is, like someone like a Tyrese, or a Shane of that nature. But she is more so a coverage tank, and she provides shields and things of that nature for her teammates. So, her human skin poncho, she protects one of her teammates that's on the front line. I pretty much think that's one of her best attributes. And her alt does damage. If it's at tier 3, it does 160% attack damage. So I think that's actually pretty good from the crawling walkers. And her alt also is an AoE attack. So pretty much what happens is anybody that's in that surrounding area will also receive that damage. So she's very helpful with area damage as well. That's why I say she's not this, in a sense, a traditional tank. Now her personal gear heals herself, so that's really good. And she can summon a walker, that will do damage to the enemy for about 8 seconds. So she needs a buff because most of her damage or her help comes from her alt. If you're going to try to use her as in the role that she needs to be, she's more so of a damaging tank. You need to definitely be able to have her to go off faster so you can get those crawlers on the field and be able to do that AoE damage. So with that being said, Alpha is better, with the right team setup, and she can reduce the intellect of a damage toon. I'm sorry, she reduces the intellect toon's damage is what I'm trying to say. So the more predator toons you have on her team, the better she is, and the more intellect toon damage will be reduced. And guess what? Who is the intellect toon that does some of the most damage in the game? Kate. So she kind of acts almost as a counter with other predators against Kate. So Alpha is definitely a B tier list, but she has the potential in the right setup to be as high as the A tier. So we're going to go ahead and put Alpha there. Now Beta, it's one of my favorite guys. He's one of my favorite from the comics as well. Just seeing him have Ezekiel head on his stick is crazy, because we know how strong Ezekiel was in the comics, but Beta is, a 6'9" demon. He's really a monster within the comic realm, and and it takes a couple people to be able to kill him. That's how strong he really is. But with that being said, he kind of plays that role within Walking Dead as well. He's a very strong toon. He is a tank toon, and you can definitely put him on the front line as one of your enforcers. So what he does is he kind of creates diversions on the front line as well, and he could take a lot of damage, but then he'll heal himself over time, and then he shouts a blast, dealing some stun to area effect toons that are around him. And he's actually really good, man. He's definitely a frontline demon, So on top of that, with his personal gear, when he casts his first alt, he cannot die. And that's at level 10, he gets a 15% HP boost. At level 20 of his ultra personal gear, he gets a 20% boost. 30% boost. And at level 30, which is the max for his personal gear, he cannot die after his first or second alt. So it turns him into an absolute monster, man. Have mercy, Lord have mercy. So he's absolutely very good. So Beta is definitely a S tier toon. So we're gonna go ahead and put Beta here on the S tier list. So very good to see him being used on a lot of defenses, especially like in Frontier and stuff like that. I'm starting to see him up there, as I progress. So he's actually a pretty decent toon there. Now next on this list we have Sherry, Scary Sherry as I like to call her. She is to me one of the top predators. She's very good. She's an absolute beast and nightmare. When she goes off that ult, oh man, it just destroys out there on the field. So if you've been playing against her, you know it's a problem. And then if you're using her, you also know that she's a problem because she buffs herself, she slows the enemy. You know, her coercive command is very good as well. You know, and when you add a personal gear into the mix, you know, where she can increase her speed, she doubles the attack against the 2 weakest enemies, and she increased the amount of damage of order. No wonder you starting to see Sherry in a lot of places, and she's a very elite toon as well. She is definitely a S+ tier predator toon for sure. This is where she lands. Now, Laura and Dwight, you know, if you read into the comics, they have a nice little love story there. You know, so Laura is very interesting. She can be like a great executioner if you need that type of a player on your field. She pulls, she has control, nice little ranged tune there as well. But she can be very squishy, so you have to build her a certain way in order for her to work. She's a very much of a glass cannon. So glass cannon tunes are tunes that can deal a lot of damage, but also they can be one shot, you know, in certain instances. So you know, she is definitely that type of tune there. So she's good to have on your roster. You're definitely going to want to use her, especially on, you know, like camp defense and everything. She can work out very well as one of your predator tunes. But other than that, it's not somebody that you want to have on the front line of your main offenses as you progress on the world stages. If you have something different, let me know down in the comments. But this is going to land her on the B tier list. Now, next on this list is her loving mate, which is Dwight. So, you know, Dwight does a lot of damage. He is a very, very powerful damage dealer. You know, so Dwight sticks to his moniker. He is one of those, you know, leaders as far as when it comes to damage. Even in, you know, the comics, he's one of those really tough guys and everything. So you have this idea of how you want Dwight to kind of like play out. He's like one of your hitters, you know. So in every group you have a strong leader. That leader has some hitters that they can depend on. Dwight is kind of that guy, and he kind of takes on that moniker. His passive accelerate speed of infection allows you to increase damage, and it reduces energy by 20, which is a flat rate. Can be good and bad. It's very small, but still it does decrease the energy of the tune that it has affected. But the thing is that the Dwight kits work very well within itself. So that passive that he has where it allows him to increase damage, it is because of something that we call like walker blood, right? So if he hits a tune with one of the arrows, or if he shoots the walker head up in the air and it deals damage, and walker blood gets on another survivor or a tune, then he's going to deal 70% attack every 3 seconds that tune has walker blood on them. And his passives help with that because they work into the walker blood. So if he crits, then the walker blood is 10 seconds. And you can kind of keep going off with Dwight. This cycle is a very, very good one. So his personal gear works very well into his kit. This definitely lands Dwight on the A tier, but do not panic. He can be as high as S plus, depending on the setup as well too. So there you have it with Dwight. He's a very, very, very good damage dealer, you know. And some people may say, well, he's S tier, he's, you know, S plus. You let me know where you would have Dwight on your tier list if you was to put one together down in the comments below. Next on this list we have Gunther. You know, Gunther, it can go off with the right setup, but he needs a lot for his rifle to work. I haven't seen him use much, but you know, this is gonna land Gunther on the C tier list. Don't have too much about him, even though I have him on my roster. I have used him in camp defense. He's just not strong enough to where he will make a difference that I see so far. So this is where I will have him. Now, next on this list we have Renia. So Rania seems like a decent toon. She can definitely find a place in like campus defense and frontier, mode. But I don't think she will make it into like the mainstay of other modes. Now, Rania has a passive called Grudge, where she pretty much turns immortal, and this seems to be a theme that's going on with some of the Predator toons where, they cannot die or they gain temporary mortality, stuff like that. So, her strategic tussle is a very good move, which allows her to deal additional damage to the toon that has been pulled for 8 seconds. So that can help out as well. Now, her personal gear helps her because she can become a absolute massive damage dealer. But in order for her to become an absolute massive damage dealer, her teammates have to die. That's counterintuitive. So it's pretty much like she becomes a super Outlast. If you play RTS, you know what kind of Outlast is. It's one of those toons that, try to outlast the other toons that are left on the field. You gain different buffs and things of that nature, cleanse, stuff like that. So it's kind of similar to the concept here. Now, when she is enraged and she kills somebody, she's going to get 30% of her health back. So if she killed 2-3 toons, bam, she's getting that health back. So she is good, but the thing is, the rest of your players have to die in order for her to kind of activate, that part of her kit, so that can be effective in certain cases, but in most cases it's not really effective. So overall, she's good in a game modes I stated before, but she is definitely going to be a C tier list Predator toon. Now, next on this list is Bella. Okay, Bella just came into the game, and by golly, she is a very, very, very strong. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over Bella. She's a very strong toon. She has like a form of rodeo like Abraham, but the interesting thing about Bella is that with her form of rodeo, she only pulls one character. All right, on top of that, she'll pull the furthest character towards the nearest one on that front line, and it'll do 180% attack damage to all enemies within range. So it's kind of like sort of a AoE attack as well there. Her kit really shines on her ult though. Man, her ult is very powerful because based off of the enemy's energy, what you'll see is that based off of the enemy's energy, she'll immobilize that energy. Oh man, I messed up. Let me pause.
There, I was saying.
What you'll see is that Bella is very, very, very powerful. So on her ult, what she'll do is, based off of the enemy's energy that they have, she'll immobilize the enemy, and then she'll deal massive amounts of damage to that enemy. So she's pretty nuts. Okay, she's also an intellect toon. So she specializes in arsenals, weapons, explosives, and dealing some sort of a AoE damage, which is kind of like that pull that's coming in and dealing damage to enemies that are effectively around her. So she is definitely good in that sense. Okay, this does not include her personal gear, where she gains more attack and speed based off of the amount of energy she reached. So when she reaches 200 energy, she's going to gain more attack and more speed. She is really nuts. She's definitely a S+ tier toon without a shadow of a doubt. She is very good. Okay, next on this list we have Governor. Governor, he lives up to his character pretty much, and with the Governor, he's kind of really selfish and doesn't give too much in return as far as it comes in the battle. He does damage, he does deal damage and everything like that, but I just don't think he's a pretty good option, as far as what I've seen so far from the Governor. Now, you may have used him in your team. You let me know what you used the Governor for, how you've used him, and that will be able to help me out as well. But I just don't see much use for the Governor. He definitely lands on the CT list here for me. Now, next we have Chemist. Okay, if you haven't played with Chemist, Chemist is a very, very, very good toon. He's a great damage over time guy, and he heals himself, which allow him in certain setups to actually be frontline. He's more so suited for back left back right, but he can play frontline in certain instances. You know, if you have like a Magna and a healer on the team, to get Chemist to be able to go off fast. And like I said, with his moves, he also heals himself. So he is definitely good. Very good toon. You definitely want to go ahead and put Chemist into your rotation. I'm actually working on him now as we speak, to be able to bring him in with the Predator setup that I'm getting ready to start using as I continue to build out my roster. So the Chemist is very good. He lands on the S tier list. Now this is what we have here. This is my Predator tier list. Let me know what you had done differently down in the comments below. This your boy JustCMTexx. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, man. Peace.